People leaving Canada is at a 58-year high right now. Millions of people are set to leave Canada over the next couple of years. Non-permanent residents or Canadians, it doesn't matter. People have had enough and they're heading for the door. What are the main reasons why people are leaving, you ask? Well, it's the cost of living. Take a listen to this.
The main reason why we're leaving Canada after living here for 6 years is mainly because it's not worth it anymore for us to be away from our family and not being able to visit them as often as we would want to because of the high cost of living and everything else around.
That the reality is we can't continue in this kind of life where the only thing that we do is just work to pay bills, and don't have even a social life.
And it's a lot of young people who are leaving. It's a lot of people with skills who are leaving. And it's an absolute disaster for the Canadian economy. And the thing is, you have to ask the question, because with an authoritarian government like the one in Canada,
and something that my government is going to do is to use all of the powers of the federal government, including the emergency powers of the federal government, to accelerate the major projects that we need in order to build this economy and take on the Americans.
how long is it going to be before they try and close that door and stop the bleeding and the brain drain of people leaving? I mean, you already have something called an exit tax in Canada, and it could be very easy for the government to take away some of the exemptions to make it practically impossible for people to leave and essentially being handcuffed to Canada, especially if they're selling a home. This is why I think it's incredibly risky to actually have assets in Canada, especially moving forward into the future if your plan is to leave. Another reason why people are leaving, and it keeps getting worse, is the crime levels. Take a listen to what this doctor has to say.
Did you ever experience these things before?
No, never. Like, I actually moved from Nova Scotia.
Okay.
It's opposite of Ontario.
Okay.
You can leave your car door open. No one would steal it.
Okay.
But here, I have to make sure, like, I have to get all the tech in the car so no one steals it. But I've never experienced it, but I've seen, like, people being scared. Like, when I see people entering into homes, like, I don't want to buy a home. I'm probably going to move to a different country. Like at the end of it, Canada is probably going to lose some people, like, who are skilled.
Educated people.
Yeah, correct.
Skilled.
So me and my partner will probably go to US. Like, I don't feel safe now. That's the thing. Like,
I mean, it's just crazy, the differences in crime that he's noticing. And you've got to wonder, is this the reason the Canadian healthcare system is so broken right now? Because when it comes to skilled workers like doctors and nurses, they are in demand around the world. And as that guy said, you know, people are going to Dubai, they're going to the United States, they're earning more money, they're having a better lifestyle. And in the case of Dubai, they don't have to worry about crime. Another reason why people are leaving is because taxes bleed them dry, as this lady says.
After 10 years in Canada, my husband and I said enough. We are moving out from Canada. Reason number one, taxes that bleed you dry. We make over 200 people a year and still feel.
And that also goes with the high cost of living. In fact, a recent report that came out showed that Canadians spend the most money on taxes than they do anything else. So taxes are a huge problem in Canada because, especially in the case of income taxes, that doesn't really help with productivity when you've got a so-called productivity emergency going on.
We need to get our productivity growth up. And if we can do that as a country, we can bend that curve up. So, I mean, I think what's most concerning is that unless we change some other things, our standard of living as a country, Canadians, is going to be lower than it otherwise would have been.
I want to talk about Canada's long-standing poor record on productivity and convince you just how big of a problem it is. You know those signs that say, in an emergency, break the glass? Well, it's time to break the glass.
So the thing is, Canada is going to have to address that in some way. And what people don't understand is there are a lot of taxes that people don't even realize are happening to them. For example, somebody earns their income in Ontario, they pay income tax, and then they go and buy something, they pay HST on top of that. And you know, then they go and buy something else, they're paying HST again. So essentially they're taxed, and then they're taxed again when they actually want to spend their money. And we've seen no political appetite whatsoever from the major political parties in Canada to actually address this and do something drastic. And that's what needs to happen in Canada. A lot of people will say, well, what is the solution here? We want the solution. The solution would have to be unification and the election of a party that is pro-free market and wants to unlock the Canadian economy. And the fact is that's never going to happen. Why? Because it threatens the elite wealth in Canada and it also threatens the oligarch wealth in Canada. So neither of those things are likely going to happen. And when you look at Canada as a whole right now, do you think it's more united or less united than about 20 years ago? It's obviously less united.
And the East has always taken from here and abused us.
I wish Alberta could stay part of Canada, but unfortunately it's been this way for so long. Nothing's going to change. And especially with Carnian, it's going to get a lot worse.
So, to the new Prime Minister and the Liberal Party, I have one message. Alberta has had enough.
So you're getting further and further away from a united Canada, which you would need to elect a new government with big promises. And that's why in Canada, you're seeing really no change and no big promises that are coming from the major parties. Oh, we're going to cut your taxes $2,000 a year. Oh, we're going to cut your taxes $1,000 a year. Like, those aren't big promises for Canadians when inflation is eating up at least $2,000 of their paycheck every single year. Another major reason why people are leaving is the healthcare system is so damn bad. I mean, we're already seeing articles like this one where basically people are having to go to the United States, which is one of the most expensive places in the world for healthcare, because they can't get it and the wait lists are so long in provinces like Ontario. So a lot of people are just like, well, why am I paying all these taxes for healthcare if I can't even get it, if I have to go out the country anyway? And a lot of people are cutting their income drastically and they're moving abroad because they're saving so much money on that cost of living. When you think about it, a lot of people in a two-person household, one person is just working to pay the rent. So where on earth are all these people going around the world? And I've seen it from the comment sections on videos, and a lot of people obviously go to Mexico because of the close proximity. Some people are going to the United States. If you are in certain industries, you can earn a hell of a lot more money in the United States than you can earn in Canada, and it's a pretty easy transition. Another place that people are going, and they've been going since the pandemic, is Costa Rica. Another place that people are going is Panama. It's obviously well connected with the world, lower taxes. A lot of people are going to Colombia. A lot of people are going to Argentina as well for that lower cost of living. And now Argentina is becoming a place that values freedom more and more, where things are changing for the better. At least that's what many people tell me who've been there and are going there to live. And then people are also heading out to Asia for the massively lower cost of living. Places like Vietnam, places like Thailand, places like Malaysia are incredibly popular now. And even places like Bali are becoming incredibly popular for digital nomads. And the main difference here is, in the past, a lot of Canadians moved abroad when they retired. That was kind of a normal thing. They called it the snowbird. And it would happen because people could simply have better weather, better lifestyle abroad. But now it's changing. You're seeing a younger demographic that is doing exactly that. And they are fed up with the situation in Canada. And it's just not going to change. That's the thing. Obviously, you could try and put a positive spin on things and say maybe it's going to change in 10, 20 years. But looking at reality right now, I don't think that Canada is going to change. And the reason is you only have to zoom out and look at other countries like the UK, Australia, New Zealand, and also the United States that are going through many of the same struggles as Canada is, but are entirely separate countries. And because of that, you can see that there is obviously an agenda behind that.
That we penetrate the cabinets. I know that half of this cabinet, or even more half of this cabinet, are for our actually young global leaders of the world economic forum.
Even government reports have come out and suggested that rising civil unrest is likely in Canada just because of the state of the country. When you look at the state of the country, when wealth inequality gets way out of whack like it is in many Western countries, when you look at the price of assets that have skyrocketed and priced many younger people completely out of the market, it's a recipe for disaster in society, and that's really what people just aren't understanding. So anyway, if you've enjoyed this video and want to learn more about my journey, then take a watch of this video here. And if you want to help support my work and get the best VPN, then go to expressvpn.com/Luke Unleashed. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.